I'm honored to present the first of the awards, the Middle School Young Peacemakers Award. The Middle School Young Peacemaker Award is awarded to Porter Wayne, and you see Porter there. So wave, Porter, there you go. Porter is a freshman at Torrance High School and participated in the Wildcat Justice Madrona Middle School's peer mediation program in his 8th grade. He enjoys gardening, baking, I love it, and rock climbing. I'm impressed by it, but would never want to do it myself. He always looks to improve and tries his best to be helpful and honest. Peer mediation served as an avenue to help others in his community in an impactful way. Candace Davis at Madrona Middle School said that she was blown away by Porter's composure and articulation, along with his calm and helpful demeanor. So we're happy and thrilled to present the award to Porter, who already has it and I think is going to show it to us, right?
Yes, so here it is.
Yay! Congrats.
Thank you all. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to get this award. Thank you, of course, to KMC. None of my training without their support to help my program at Madrona Middle School really flourish last year. So that being said, I'm going to talk a little about my experience mediating, a little bit about how it affected me, about maybe plans for the future, all that kind of stuff. And then a little bit later, maybe how it affected the school and other kind of miscellaneous stuff that might not be as directly related to me, but is just as important. So that being said, thank you all for listening, and I suppose I should start. I got into peer mediation because the school kind of reached out to me first. They sent out an email with a brief description of what peer mediation was, and at the time, I was really just trying my best to kind of be helpful and help people, because obviously that's very important, and I think we could all use, we all need help every now and again. So being there to help people when they need it is important. But what I was doing was limited, of course, because I'm just me and I'm doing what I can. But peer mediation, when I saw this opportunity, looked like a more formal avenue, something that I could use to take what I wanted to do, help people to a more controlled and formal environment where I would be trained and I would know, exactly, well, not exactly, I would know what to do and I would be better able to achieve what I wanted to do. So that's how that started. I sent in my application and I got accepted. So good news. Then a few days before school started, we got into our training, which of course I would assume is paid for by the grant from KMC. So thank you for that. And the training was great. We learned about the different parts of mediation. We learned different maybe techniques, and we learned just a whole bunch about how all of this works. And I think that even if I never got to mediate for whatever reason, that training is still so important because it taught me a lot about myself, about others, and about the relationships that we kind of form with each other. And it taught me how to kind of navigate these different bonds that we have. And I think even beyond mediation, this really helps me in my personal life to be more empathetic. And I think it's just so important that we have a lot of empathy towards other people so that we can really create a welcoming environment wherever we go. So that being said, I do hopefully plan to continue. Right now, Torrance High School, where I'm attending school, doesn't have a peer mediation program, but maybe I can do something about that. And even if that never happens, for whatever reason, I hope that maybe I can continue to mediate either in my own conflicts or with others, even if it's just within my personal circle. And maybe I'll be able to do it professionally or in some higher level, like of course many of you all are. Now, of course we got lots of cases, not lots, but we've got at least a few. And for me, the most impactful one was my first. And maybe our first cases have a special place in all of our hearts. But for me, what really stood out was what happened a few days and then again a few weeks after the case. The case itself was fine. There was maybe a hitch or two, but for the first case, I think it went pretty well. We got to use what we learned, me and my partner, and it was great. I think we arrived at a solution, or we helped the parties arrive at a solution. But a few days after the session, one of the parties saw me in the hallway, and they stopped and they said hi to me and thanked me for what I did. And that came as a shock to me because, I mean, they really had no reason to do it other than just being thankful for what I did. And it just meant a lot to me that someone would bother to go out of their way to not only remember my face and who I am, but also thank me. And it just kind of showed me that this mediation, that what I'm doing really was helping people in a tangible way. So even if maybe it didn't seem like I was helping that much to me, it did matter a whole lot to other people. And of course, like I mentioned, the party did this again 2 weeks later-ish, I think. So that just meant a whole lot to me. But I think that's enough about myself and how mediation helped me. So now I'm going to try and move on to kind of more general aspects. In terms of case numbers, Wildcat Justice, the program had about 6 pairs of mediators, and each pair at least got 2 cases. So I think a few pairs got 3. So I think that's a pretty good amount. I'm not quite sure, but it's middle school, and we did stop taking cases when schools closed in the spring because we kind of never made the switch to online. But even then, I think that's a pretty good amount of cases. Now, another thing to touch up on is mediating with a partner. I think that in the middle school setting especially, meeting with a partner can be very, very helpful because I'm sure it doesn't come as a surprise that middle school students probably aren't as experienced or eloquent as people who do this on a more professional level. So having a partner there who you can rely on and who can kind of cut in if you need them, or if you need them to, they can act as a safety net. So I think in terms of mediation, it keeps the flow of the conversation going. So there's no breaks and you can really keep the focus on the parties and helping them resolve their conflict. So I definitely think having a partner there helped. Now, overall, I think peer mediation obviously was definitely a positive thing in the school community. I think that it definitely resolved some conflicts that otherwise would have escalated and maybe there would have been a whole ordeal. And I think another important thing is that it showed students that they can resolve things on their own peacefully. I think that maybe even if they don't have official training, it kind of plants the idea that, hey, not every conflict has to end in punishment and negativity, and conflict can be positive. It can be a tool for growth. So I think that it really helped to create a more peaceful and welcoming environment in the school. That being said, I think I've spoken for a bit of time. So I'd like to end it off, of course, by thanking everyone once again, everyone who's here for listening to me and taking time out of your day. And of course, to KMC for the grant to Madrona Middle School. Without that, I wouldn't have got my training and I wouldn't have made nearly as much growth in this area of my life. So I'm definitely thankful for that and thankful for the award. It's an honor to have it. So thank you all.